For this episode of the World Triathlon Podcast, we hear from Ireland's Carolyn Hayes. Carolyn is a doctor, two-time World Triathlon Cup medalist and soon-to-be first-time Olympian, with her qualification for Tokyo 2020 set to be announced after some excellent recent results. So, Carolyn, welcome. You've had your kitting out today, so presumably it doesn't get much more official than that. Can we say congratulations? Is it?
Yeah, 100%. Signed, sealed, delivered. So yeah, I'm off to the Tokyo Olympic Games. It's a bit surreal, to be honest. And then going to the kit collection today for Team Ireland and having all the official photography and things. It just seems a million miles away from the dark winter days of getting up early, training and hoping for the best. So yeah, Tokyo 2020, here I come.
There it is. Pretty big day then, the kit day. It's one of those things that you always sort of see a little bit on the news or through social media and so on, and it does look like quite a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's really well organized as well. You know, you think you go there and you're gonna have all the time in the world, but actually there's a tight schedule, and you have to do a couple of interviews, which again is very far removed from the normal everyday training grind. So look, what seldom is wonderful, and I'm just going to enjoy today. So it's great to be able to do the podcast as well today and get everything ticked off before I put the head down again tomorrow leading into the games.
Well, it will be great to hear about your, what I can only presume is a pretty hefty emotional roller coaster that you have been through over the past few months. I know Rio 2016 had been at one point a target, right? But that never kind of quite came to fruition. So just wondered how, talk us through that point and at what stage you kind of set that laser focus onto Tokyo.
Yeah, well, I guess I wasn't really in any position to be going for Rio, if I'm totally honest. I was doing 2016, my final medical exams probably, or third year medical exams. So, you know, I always just wanted to be a doctor. Becoming an Olympian was, you know, a distant dream, and definitely for the superhuman athletes out there. So I guess for me, I first got into triathlon after the London 2012 Olympics, you know, watching the great accolades of the Brownlee brothers. So they kind of, you know, really brought triathlon to the forefront for Ireland and the UK. And then I took up triathlon myself when I was in my second year of medical school. I thought it'd be a good way to escape the pressures of study. And yeah, in hindsight, that probably wasn't my smartest move because I should have just done something like running. But yeah, no, I was always a firm believer in balancing like sport and academics. So yeah, when did Tokyo become a reality, or I suppose a dream that I thought was achievable? Probably after I moved to Wicklow, really, from home. So I up sticks from my home place in County Limerick to come to Wicklow to be with my training group, Pop. And my coaches, Aina McGrath and Gavin Noble. So Gavin Noble would have gone to the London Olympics for a triathlon. So he has been incredible at, you know, getting me into race mode and, you know, planning what races I should go to. And, you know, he knows what it takes to get to the top. So having his experience, and he's actually a great coach, but I don't tell him that. I like to just give him abuse. And then my head coach would be Aina McGrath. So he was based in Wicklow, and it was obviously very hard at the start because, you know, you'd be working Monday to Friday in the hospital and then coming up to Wicklow at the weekend and doing the typical weekend warrior stuff. And, you know, that's fine if you want to compete nationally, but when you want to step up to ITU and go internationally, you have to, you know, make a bigger commitment. So I'll never forget saying to my parents, "Here, I'm thinking of stepping away from medicine. You know, I'm a senior house officer now, and I'm really enjoying it. But I'm thinking of doing triathlon." And it's the type of question you ask your parents, and it's like, you know, saying, "I think I should get a tattoo on my forehead." You want them to say, "No, don't do that. It's not a good idea." But they were like, "Yeah, go for it. I totally on board." So like even the first time I met my coach in McGrath, I was in just testing lab in Dublin, And he says to me, you know, I know nothing about you. I don't know what you want to achieve, but we'll test. And it was just, you know, a basic like ramp test on the bike or run test. I can't remember. And I didn't know if I wanted to do long distance triathlon. I was going to do the Dublin 70.3 Ironman event.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ended up falling off my bike and concussing myself. So I missed that event. And then we changed tact, and we started to say, well, there's a couple of ITU races there in November. Why don't you just give it a go? And I did, and I really enjoyed it. And then after that, things just kind of took off.
And how? So yeah, shout out to the Hop crew then.
Yes, so I joined the Hop training group, which is headed up, as I said, by Aidan McGrath and Gavin Noble. And like, what a team to be joining. I mean, it's all levels. So you have people who are competing in age group, people who are just runners, people who are just cyclists, swimmers, long distance Ironman, short distance. So like, when, you know, that first morning you rock up on deck, like the age profile, we had like 11-year-old kids right up to like people in their, you know, 50s and 60s. And I loved that because
that's the magic,
you know,
isn't it? That's
everyone's there. Everyone has a different goal. Everyone has a different strength, and you're just all in like for the same session. Obviously tailored, you know, based on your times, but there was great camaraderie, and I think particularly at the start, when you're kind of getting involved into the training, you really depend on the group to motivate you and push you. So obviously COVID then was really hard, but so when I started training, I obviously had an awful lot to work on. I swam a little bit as a kid, none of these mad like early morning sessions. Like, our family were very, very chilled. Like, I have 3 big brothers and I have a twin sister, so sport was always massive in our family. And I always just wanted to be good enough to be able to play with my brothers and not embarrass them. And then my dad would have taught us all how to swim, but again, it was just fun. And when we were swimming, like, you'd qualify for the Irish Nationals or Division 1, which would be like the main events here, but they were always on in the summer, and like there was no way my parents were staying around for the summer. We'd head off to Spain and go camping. And like, at the time you used to think, God, that's awful, I do all this hard training and then I miss the main events. But it was actually brilliant because kind of put sport in perspective, you know, like that there is more. It's important to enjoy it, but like there's other things. So yeah.
So they weren't, it was encouraged, it wasn't drilled, it wasn't like
exactly. But then I guess when I joined Hop, you know, it's a high achieving group, and I guess I just wanted to find my way in that group and get the most from the people around me. So I kind of sat down and we decided, you know, we'd race, you know, World Triathlon and try and target a couple of events, see how it went. And there was nothing, you know, knockout or anything like that, but it was just see if I enjoyed it. And I did. I really enjoyed the World Triathlon racing, you know, the intensity of it. And then I left my job completely, moved to Wicklow, and knew that the only way to get better was to dedicate myself to training and to trust my coaches. And I've no regrets at all in doing that. And obviously this year in particular, I'm starting to see like massive improvements and the benefits of putting in all those areas of training.
Yeah, it was, sorry, was it Adrian that was at London 2012?
Which one of your coaches? Gavin Noble. And then Aina McGrath is like my head coach.
Right. Okay. So has Gavin, is he putting together a little dossier of Olympic tips for you? Or, because, you know, it's a whirlwind. It's going to be obviously like no other race you've ever done, right?
Yeah. I think where Gavin shines is that, you know, he'll always insulate, you know, you need to work hard. And like, you know, I had a shocker of a race in Yokohama and I always have one shocker. And, you know, his line, whether you do good or bad, is, look, forget about it. No one cares. But in terms of like, even the kit collection today, because Gavin is the deputy chef de mission for Tokyo 2020, which is really cool. So I would have tried on some of the kit beforehand, but obviously you're giving it back. So today I got to try it on and take off the labels. So, you know, he's kind of saying that, you know, just enjoy today and enjoy all the stuff that goes with it, because, you know, you don't want to be fretting about missing training or anything like that, because you won't get this opportunity again. You know, like, you're only going to collect your kit once. You're probably only going to ever do. Well, yeah, you never know. Paris 22 is coming now. No, you can't think of anything. So he's just enjoy the moment and be proud. That's kind of what he says.
Yeah. What sort of size squad is Ireland sending to Tokyo? It was totally cross sport. Obviously not everybody there at the same time, I guess.
Yeah. I think we're sending the largest ever Irish Olympic team, which is massive. So just at the weekend, I was actually watching the game on Sunday. The Irish Rugby Sevens team qualified. Brilliant. So they had a repage, sort of last chance saloon tournament to qualify, whereas it was a winner take all. So they beat France in the final, and yeah, so we have a sevens team going. We have a hockey team going. We have the 2 triathletes going, myself and Russell White. Yeah. We're always very strong in the boxers. So I think we're looking at over maybe 65 athletes going. Like, that's massive.
Yeah. So does that mean Ireland? Yeah, Ireland qualified and France didn't for the rugby sevens. Does that mean, or?
Absolutely. So it's bittersweet. And it was in Monaco, so I don't think it went down amazingly well.
Yikes. Yeah, that's big.
Yeah, it is. It's great for them. But, like, I mean, you know, I suppose they're just going to enjoy that moment now, and they'd be the first to say that once they get to the Olympics, you know, everyone is top level. And the same in our sport. Like, anyone who's in the Olympics, there's no messing around. You deserve to be there, and that's probably what excites me most. You know, I've been performing well in the last 5 weeks since qualification reopened, but I know there's more to give. So I'm super excited, and just to see what I can do when I go to Tokyo.
And great that Russell, like you said, Russell's going as well. So did you see him today? Was he there at the same time?
Oh, I did, yeah. He pretends not to know me on these days, you know. He's too cool. I know. He actually was in swimming with me this morning at the National Aquatic Centre at the Sport Ireland campus, which was a pleasant surprise. And then we both headed over and collected kit together. So we've both been experiencing the team day together, and I suppose it's kind of nice. It's nice to have company, even if he is from the north.
So Wicklow is, I mean, it's obviously, it's a beautiful place as well, right? It's there's national parks. There must be, but kind of a bit wild as well. Is it the sort of place that hardens an endurance athlete?
I think anyone that trains in Ireland has to be very hardy. Like, it's been lashing rain this morning, and it's the 23rd of June. You know, we should be having beautiful weather. Wicklow is known as the Garden of Ireland. So the Irish for Wicklow would be Kilbonton, and that comes from the mountains. So you have the sea on the east coast, and then I have mountains for biking on the left. Like, I definitely want to live here when I'm a bit older and I can buy a house. It's just magnificent. And the only problem is the sea is the Irish Sea, so it's Baltic, so not great prep for Tokyo. And the climate obviously wouldn't be great for heat prep. But I mean, I think the facilities in Ireland and the training structure that Hup and my coach Jana have created for me here in Wicklow and Dublin, like, I never feel the need to go away on training camps or to link up with groups, because, like, everything I need is here. Why would I leave?
And your family's from just to the west of Ireland, right? So
yeah, southwest.
There's a serious, you know, it's obviously it's deeply in the blood. It's not just you're not just wearing the shirt. It's in you, right? I obviously saw your interview after Lisbon. Dropped in a little light into that.
Yeah, people loved the bit of Irish. Well, I actually did all my education through Irish. So our Gaeilge, as you know, so I did my primary education and my secondary education. And I'll never forget, like, first day of college, I was sitting in physics and this lad was putting up a triangle and he writes hypotenuse. And I was there, what the hell? So I put the hand up and he's like, yes, Miss Hayes, you have a question? I was like, I do, sir. I was like, what's a hypotenuse? And the entire lecture hall just took off and they were like, how did this idiot get to college? Because to me, it's a taobh and I do everything in Irish. So,
Right.
yeah, people really liked the Cúpla Focal, which was lovely. And like, I'm incredibly proud to be Irish and to say that I do all my training here and my coaches are Irish. You know, as you said, like, I'd say I've green blood running through me.
Yeah. So getting all the kit as well, you know, all these things form part of that, right? You feel like you're definitely flying the flag.
Yeah, 100%. And then especially today, I mean, I saw one of the former Olympic boxers, Kenny Egan, that was there. So that was, you know, another Olympian to meet. And then we had a few other people coming in after us collecting gear. And, you know, I didn't get to talk to them, but you can just feel the excitement and, you know, you're kind of thinking that's really cool because they're going through the highs that I am. And I knew that it was like their first Olympics that they're going to. And like, I know it's going to be a really different Olympics to London and Rio because of restrictions, but I think that, you know, every athlete is just so happy that they're going ahead and yeah, that they're definitely going to be happening.
So who was more excited / proud? You, your mum, your coach?
My coach is a hard man to read, which is great. But he's able to read me like a book though, which is really annoying. To be honest, my mum was obviously incredibly proud. My family incredibly proud, and my twin sister just like I knew family cared and wanted. You know, they go on the journey with you, like they really do. And you know, Gavin had always reminded me at the start that initially you're training for yourself and you're racing for yourself, but there comes a point where actually you're not just doing it for you anymore, you're doing it for everyone who supported you and helped you. And I think that kind of motivates me for the hard days. But yeah, like I'm incredibly proud to have done it. Probably not the easiest way. And then at the same time, I'm getting all these congratulations for qualifying for the Olympic Games. And I'm kind of like, I really feel you should be saying congratulations to my coach, Aina, because, you know, my job is super easy. I just go when the hooter like goes off and that's it. He is the hard work of, you know, getting me ready to go to races, you know, keeping me mentally sane. Like he's my coach, psychologist. He's the only person I've seen in lockdown. Like we've seen each other every single day. And even my twin sister, she had a baby in November and I only met the child like this month for the first time. So yeah, it's mad. Like when you think about the things that you put aside to achieve this dream.
And does he travel with you? Was he in Lisbon with you? Was he in Yokohama, Leeds?
Yeah, 100%. Aina coming to the races is like it's a game changer because it means that I don't need to worry about anything. Like I raced a couple of races where he wasn't there, and you're kind of second guessing yourself and wondering what would my coach be advising me to do, or you know, is this the right thing to be doing? Or even if you have like, you know, yourself like pre-race, you have a couple of swim sessions when you're away for 2 or 3 weeks, and like if you have a set written down, you're going to be trying to do the set, but you could be a bit fatigued or tired. Whereas when your coach is there on side, like he just changes the set as he sees it, and that's invaluable. Like I never know what I'm doing tomorrow because it'll depend how I look in the warm up. And to me, I think you can't get a higher level of coaching than that. You know, someone who is willing to write the program then and there for you. So yeah, when he's away, he takes on all the pressures, and I just tell him, just get me to the start line, and then I'm fine.
And this process obviously started, you know, in 2019, 2018, possibly even.
Yeah, 2018.
Yeah. And the races you were doing, you raced a lot of in Africa, didn't you? There was a lot of the African Cups and so on. So that was presumably all meticulously planned out as well to, gather the points to then build up. Obviously, nobody at that point knew what was coming.
Yeah, exactly. So the guys, Gavin and Ada, would have sat down and figured, right, I've no world ranking, so. And because in 2018, I was still working in St. James's Hospital, which is one of the busiest hospitals in Ireland, still doing like full night shifts, weekend shifts, all that jazz. So I need to get my world ranking up. And we knew that probably in Olympics that wouldn't be possible because you only had 2 races from the first period. So if I could get my World Triathlon ranking high enough, then you can go for the new flag. So that was the goal. But then obviously I had a 6 in Europeans, and then I had my silver medal in Astana just behind Ayueda. Very talented athlete, really good athlete, and a lovely athlete as well. So that kind of bumped up my world ranking. And then when I raced in Mauritius just before, that was the final race, the same weekend as Mooloolaba, and I think Sarasota was cancelled. But that was the first time I sat on a plane and turned to my coach and said, "Oh my God, I actually think we've done it. I've done the maths. Like, I think we're going to the Olympics." And then COVID hit, and no one knew what was going on. And I was saying I shouldn't have said anything. Like,
I know.
Hey, like, duck Greta, why did you do that? And then, so when the qualification period reopened and World Triathlon said, "Okay, 5 races," I was initially a bit like, "Oh, I don't know how this is going to go," but like I worked so hard throughout COVID, and I know everyone else had been working hard, and it was really hard, like following other athletes on social media because they're able to train in groups and swim, and like Ireland had one of the strictest lockdowns, and like we're still only lifting restrictions. We went into lockdown in December, and it's still like you can't travel anywhere, and I wasn't able to travel home to see my parents. I mean, I got to see them only yesterday, actually, and they had a big like Olympic cake for me. They're so cute. And that's actually another time when it hit home. Oh my God, this means a lot to them.
Mum's made a cake. Oh boy.
Yeah. Actually, Mom didn't even trust herself to make a cake. Mom delegated someone else to make a cake so that it wouldn't be poisonous. She knew she'd do something wrong.
And then you're like, "Mom, I'm in training. I can't be having like a..."
Yeah. I know, I'm fortunate. I actually, keeping the weight on is the big thing with me. So I'm very lucky. I know some athletes struggle. But so then when the qualification period reopened and then I had to race again, I was really apprehensive. But so Yokohama was my disaster. Great, get it out of the way early. It's fine. And like I was just so upset because my coach couldn't figure out what had gone wrong. He knew what had gone wrong and he was waiting to tell me, and I was kind of going, "What, all this training?" So I got my act together for Lisbon, and Lisbon would be like, it was a true reflection on the work we've done, and it was exciting. I was just devastated not to take the win.
What was the moment then after Yokohama? Like, we'll get to Lisbon, but what was the...
I had a good chat with my coach, and I don't know, and he's like, "I know exactly what happened," and he listed 2 things, and like obviously I was very upset, and is like, what was the point? What the hell? I'm after shooting myself in the foot, and he's like, "No, you did this wrong and you did that wrong." So I allowed myself to be a bit despondent and upset, and then as soon as we got to Europe, I was like, right, game face on, head down, new week, brush it off. And like I'd been having PB swim sets, PB run sets, PB bike sets, like everything was going so well. So I knew in Lisbon now the swim again wasn't amazing. I think I went too far left, but anyway, loads of people did the same thing. And we copied the men, oversighted the boy, and then swung in, typical. But Lisbon, I suppose, was just a massive boost of confidence, and it reminded me that you're good enough to be racing at this level, and then to back it up in Leeds. And everyone was so lovely in Leeds, actually. Like, before, I'm used to going to races and no one knows who the Irish person in the corner is, that's that pale white person who wears the green, tri-suit. And like you had Katie and Lon and a few others just coming up saying well done, and like, wow, I didn't even think you'd have watched the race. That's awesome, thanks. You know, because I was looking at these girls on TV, you know, when I'm studying in medical school. So yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. The atmosphere in Leeds was pretty magical once
Yeah,
again, but obviously in a very different setting. So
yeah,
um, yeah, front to back, there was so many little stories to be told as well. So that it felt like they were all in tune with everything that was going on as well. So it was
yeah. No, there was great, and I have to say that British Triathlon, well, they're not my federation. They did a stellar job. They were so good. Everything was meticulous, and even with COVID and all the restrictions and the testing, like I think every athlete had nothing but positive, um, positive reports from the race. So yeah,
even about
fair
the
play.
hill at the end.
Yeah, I never knew about that. It was quite funny on the run course. So there was obviously large gaps between the groups, and I was on the run for the first lap, and they were like, "Keep going," and I'm like, "I have no idea where I'm running because we didn't have a run course recce, and I didn't know about that hill at the end." So yeah, that was a nice shot. It would have been nice to have that hill actually in the middle of the run course. That would have been a game changer.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so you're obviously keeping tight-lipped about the slight tactical faux pas or whatever in Yokohama that didn't happen.
Yeah, yeah, swim
But
disaster.
right, um, but and like you said, disappointed not to have taken the win in Lisbon. But if yeah, Nicholas
Yeah,
Beery isn't
yeah, yeah,
a bad person to
yeah,
finish
yeah.
second to, and I guess I'd imagine she's the sort of woman that must have been a pretty big source of inspiration for you as well.
Massive. I mean, huge respect for that woman. And I mean, before the race in Lisbon, like I was just hoping for, top 15. That's what I needed to get. So to be in the position I was in was great. And yeah, it would have been nice to take it. But I think coming second to a four-time, soon to be five-time Olympian, um, is not a bad day at the office.
Yeah.
And even when we caught up with each other, I mean, you knew the mind games were starting a little bit. Like she hadn't drunk from any water station throughout the whole thing, and then she grabs a bottle of water, and then she was slowing it down, speeding it up. So I was like, well, to hell with this. And then I was like, I'll push in front. And then of course she responded. So like to be able to play cat and mouse with Nicholas Beery, that was great.
Well, and learning, right? I mean, there's not
Yeah,
many that have been
massive.
at the point of the end as much as she has. And when she had the sprint finish with Norden at
Yeah.
the games, and she was saying on the podcast how she was using the big screen down the finish chute to see where they were. She wasn't going to even look to the right or left, whichever it was. She was
That's
looking at the
smart.
big screen, and it's loads of little things that you only learn by being there. So yeah, those takeaways, the bottle thing, that's all great stuff
Yeah.
for you to.
There's a great Irish cyclist actually, Sean Kelly, and he's credited with in the middle of a stage race. So it's one of these ridiculous, 7-hour stages, and everyone is out of water, and Sean Kelly's going along, and he's taking the water bottle, and everyone's gasping for a drink, and he's there, swigging out of his bottle, and he went on to win the stage, and they're like, "How did you do it?" And he didn't have any water in his bottle either. It was all just, if they think I'm hydrated and I'm getting this in, and they're all dehydrated, it was just the mind games. But I wouldn't
Love it.
I wouldn't have the same experience. But I'm a fast learner, and I'm definitely picking it up quick. So, and that's why I suppose I'm getting to say that I'm going to the games.
Yeah, well, and I guess it must be hard, or something you have to learn, to have the clarity of thought at that stage of a race as well, to be able to think like that and not just be like, get me to the line, get me to the line.
Yeah, definitely. I think until you're in the position, you don't know how you're going to react. And I suppose that's where unfortunate having like the medical background as well. A lot of stuff happens in the wards or in theatre, and your first instinct is we didn't cover this in med school, but you go back to basics and you just try and play to what am I good at and use that. But it's hard to read someone. So yeah, hopefully in the Olympics there might be a few more mind games to be played
down the final throws. Yeah. And as far as Lisbon again goes, obviously you came off the bike there and just attacked straight away. So to know that you were after, that a ride like that and so on, that the legs were obviously feeling good enough to be able to just kick on. That's got to be a huge confidence boost as well, going into what is a big gap in racing before Tokyo.
Yeah, massive. I suppose like a lot of endurance athletes, whatever speed I go out at, I'm normally able to just maintain it. So some people are like, oh, did you go out a bit fast? And I was like, no, it was definitely okay. And I didn't look back once in Lisbon, so I didn't actually realize that I had gotten a gap like that. And I remember running along as well, thinking, oh, everyone's going to be like, she's doing a Schomburg on it, because I watched the men's race the day before, and I was like, don't do a Schomburg. I'm really sorry, Schomburg, if you're listening.
I get the impression he loves that. That's not the first, and it won't be the last time that.
So that's what I could think of, and then I was like, actually, no, it wouldn't be so bad. So it's incredibly motivating. I mean, Leeds, the legs didn't feel 100%, but I was still able to get the job done. So that's great. And then I had a few disasters in the water in Leeds. My wetsuit split on the boy 3 of the first lap. So I was filling up with water, which was great. And I kept thinking, oh no.
And in one of the fastest swims there's been.
When I went out then for the re-entry, I was like, please God, let the wetsuits down. So I lost a couple of positions on the second lap, but I was so worried about the wetsuit that I wasn't able to think about the swim. And I remember Casper Stornes in Hamburg just getting stuck, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be Casper.
Oh God, all that's going through your mind.
So then when I got into transition in Leeds, I was just so thrilled that the wetsuit opened. I was like, yes. But then I totally, I didn't have my head on at all. I was trying to take off my timing chip, thinking, God, my leg is very tight. So yeah, Leeds, there were a few disasters and still a top 10 finish, so I'll take it.
Yeah, ahead of your Katie Zafiris and non-Stanfords and so on. Another massive rubber stamp in the confidence book.
Yeah, 100%. And just, I mean, those girls now are a different league. They've been doing this a long time, and I definitely look up to both of them and huge respect. But I suppose it just reaffirms that actually you're good enough, you're on the same level, you can do this. So yeah.
And that was only your third series race?
Yeah, it's a bit mad, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I remember interviewing you in Nur-Sultan after the silver there, and you couldn't quite believe that you'd done it, and that how quickly that had come about. Really, you hadn't been long out of full-time employment, so
no, not at
that
all.
was a result like that. It's a big commitment, a big sacrifice, and a big leap into the unknown to turn your back on your job. That sounds bad, but to make that change. So yeah, Nur-Sultan must have been that first, or one of the first moments where you felt fully justified.
Yeah, 100%. And I actually remember a few of my hop-up teammates, particularly Chris Minturn, he's like, fair play to you. Yeah, you're definitely going to Tokyo anyway. He's from Cork, so that's the type of accent he'd say it on. I was like, thanks, Chris. But yeah, so just a lot of people. I think it was great. It was great kind of to show my coaches that, look, we can do this. Your hard work hasn't been, fruitless, and I'm willing to put myself out there and go for it. A lot of the time, I think because I don't have some of the experience of the other races, I'm just winging it, and I'm just keep going hard until you can't go hard anymore. And look, it's working. So I'll keep doing it. And yeah.
You said you wouldn't have minded the hill at the end of Leeds coming halfway through the run. But I mean, Lisbon was a pretty flat course, right?
Super
And
flat, yeah,
in
super
Leeds,
flat.
you wouldn't call Leeds flat, but yeah, I mean there were
It
some
was
inclines and stuff
relatively, yeah.
there. But right, so how you did the Tokyo Test event in 2019, and that must be a brilliant opportunity to go through some things with your coach and to
Oh yeah,
race, to have a practice run like that. I can only imagine will be hugely beneficial. How does that? How did that course fit for you? You know, pancake flat again, really, and obviously incredibly
yeah,
hot
yeah.
swim and so on. So
So Tokyo, the test event was invaluable in that respect. Just getting to try some of the heat prep strategies and then see what worked and what didn't work. Now, obviously, in the morning, the women's event was shortened from the 10K to the 5K run. So, like any pressure that would have been on, because before everyone would say, "Oh, Carolyn, she's only a good runner," you know. So there was no pressure then because it's only 5K. But like the heat, I love the heat. I absolutely love it. And for an Irish person who's extremely small and pale and white, I shouldn't love the heat. Like I think the sun hits my skin and just reflects off. Like I won't get sunburned. Mosquitoes don't even eat me. Like I don't know what's wrong with me. So yeah, I do well in the heat and like diving into Adiva Bay and it's 31 and a half degrees. Like people were sweating in the warm up and giving out. So I'm there like, God, I don't find this bad at all. What's wrong with me? So yeah, the heat suits me. The
maybe you're
swim in
comparing it to
Tokyo.
the Irish Sea, right? You're just so happy that
Oh,
it's not.
stop! Yeah, I don't. I keep saying I don't. There's no point going into that Irish Sea now. It's only 11 degrees. It's no good for Tokyo. So yeah, and then the bike course for the test event. I mean, it's super technical, super technical. And I'd be quite happy with my bike handling skills. So technical courses. I guess being a smaller rider, you just have to be aware of your positioning. Coming out of dead turns is going to be people who are a bit bigger and able to drop more power. So like small people would typically, oh, hilly course suits you, but actually I don't mind the technical one. You just need to be a smart rider and play to your strengths. And then the run course after the test event, when you're climbing back in towards transition, you have that downhill section. So some people are incredibly good at running downhill, and I guess that would be something that you'd be foolish not to be practicing either, because that's free time if you can maximize that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so going back, knowing the course, it's exciting, and hopefully it is hot, humid, and it's a full Olympic distance triathlon.
Yeah, well, I think they're all pretty much a given. But yeah, what isn't, I suppose, is what kind of race it will be. You have it's the lineup is unlike any other. The sort of the pressures are obviously unlike any other as well. What kind of athlete are you in the lead up to the to big races? Do you keep kind of quite a level head?
Oh, I'd say I'm like a headless chicken half the time. But no, I mean like it's another standard race. It's another international race. It's a day I get to wear, an Irish flag on my chest and, represent my country. So, I think of all those things, and I'm gonna have my coach over there. And he was there at the test event. He's been at all my races, so that's a constant. And that takes care of me worrying about anything, and his job is just to get me to the start line. But yeah, I'll just be approaching it. I mean, it's going to be super tactical. It's going to be very different. I mean, the races in the last 5 weeks have been, countries competing against each other for spots, and like it's been very different. And yeah, I'd say it'll be a very fast swim. It'll probably get split, and yeah, who knows what will happen. I mean, I'll just be approaching it like any other race. I'll respect the course. I'll respect that it's it's a 1 day event. It's a winner takes all. And I'll just be going out there hoping to give a great performance in green.
You've not got any sort of little superstitions that you'll be taking with you. It's not like you didn't put your first cup medal in Nursultan down to the camel milk and have had to have it ever since or anything like that, no?
No. Once there's plenty of dairy milk. Do I have any superstitions? No. No. I mean, I suppose everyone has their own little quirks and routines, and I'll definitely be bringing my own like homemade scones or brown bread, and
Yeah.
see how long they last me at the training camp in Fukurai, and like my mum's jam, I'll bring that, and yeah, a few home comforts, but no, nothing major. I don't have enough races done, I think, for superstitions.
Maybe not.
I think I'd be worse for like exams or something, bringing in my prayer book or lighting a candle. Oh yeah, that's a very Irish thing. I'll get my mammy to light a candle
Right.
and
Pop it in the window facing east.
yeah, absolutely. Like, Mum, I've nothing done. Don't worry, the candle is lit. You'll be grand. Like that's
It's out of all of our hands now. The candle is lit.
yeah, exactly. As long as there's no wind, or once she has, I better make sure she's plenty of matches at home. Actually, yeah, that might be something I'll take care of before I go away in July 14th. Candles and matches.
Oh Lord, imagine if she was just sort of kicking around the house, desperately opening every drawer, couldn't find anything to
Oh,
light it with.
it's okay. My brother's a fireman. He'd find something.
He'd whittle some rocks together or something,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it seems somewhat silly, I suppose, to put it in that perspective even before the Olympics, but an incredible journey to have got here, and you know that must just make you want to enjoy it all the more as well. I mean, I know you said you saw Ali and well both the Brownlees in London 2012, and that was a huge sort of kick start. He's coming on the podcast next week, so that's going to be exciting.
Awesome. You can tell him I said a big hello.
Yeah, well, and it's things like that kind of what's the wordable that yeah, the impression that he has had on those coming through.
You don't realize how impressionable your performances can be on people. You know, like you don't know who you impact. And I guess, like for me, being a female, being someone like I'm really fortunate that if all this gambling and risk taking went belly up, I walk back into a great job as a doctor, and the College of Anesthesiologists here in Ireland and the Medical Council, like I thought they'd be, I suppose, quite tough and regimental, and they're like, Era, don't be worrying about it. Anyone can be a doctor. Go off there and go to the Olympics. I'm kind of like, what? So they're like, having that support makes it easier for me to focus on what I need to do, and that is like train and focus on being in the best shape possible in Tokyo. And I hope that yeah, maybe I'll inspire a couple of female future Irish triathletes and remind them that get your education and you can balance things a bit better, because I feel sport, it's always been like not so much male dominated, but a lot of the sports scholarships and that go to guys, or women, you should be good academically and like look after yourself, or get married, have kids, whereas no, women are able to do it all as well.
And some good young talent coming through in Ireland, right? Maeve Gallagher has been putting in some good shows and making her debut, right, at the World Cup level.
Yeah, I mean, those guys, I suppose they don't realize how lucky they are to be able to do it at such a young age and to have the opportunities. And I suppose all of them, the younger girls coming through, like they definitely approach it like that. This is, a great opportunity, and it's great to see that. Like I would have always looked up to Aileen, and she'd be one of the first people to message me, well done, or good luck, or give me some advice. Like she was, top 10 in the world for so long and so consistent, two-time Olympian, and now she's based down in Australia, 2 kids, her own little family. So yeah, she would definitely have inspired me as well, and it's great to be able to follow in her very large footsteps. Not that she's big feet, but just what she's done before me.
Keep digging, keep digging.
Oh God, Aileen, I'm so sorry.
Well, thanks ever so much for taking the time at the end of what has been obviously a very big day for you. Leave you to go and rustle through your bags of swag Irish loop from the.
I know, it could be any more green.
It's a good green. That's a good green. Have you, any in the bag that were like particular hits or indeed misses? Some stuff that you're like, I'm not going to be putting that on. What, are you crazy?
Do you know, I haven't gone through it. I swear to God, like I would have tried on a good bit of the kit for Gav beforehand, but obviously that was just to see like testing samples. The Adidas footwear is quite nice, and I know the British athletes have all the Adidas kit. It's really comfortable.
Yeah.
And then we got two little dolls, Derval and Dahi. They're our Irish mascots, so the most Irish names ever. But yeah, I'll have a look through the bag now. I'm kind of like, do you have to bring all that stuff plus all the tri gear?
Yeah. Is there are you sort of? Are your hands tied? You have to. If you don't bring it all with you, then someone's gonna.
I know. And then I'm waiting on Specialized Ireland because obviously, like the Olympic bikes, I've no idea what color the frames are going to be. Do you know?
No.
Oh,
God,
no
I
one
should.
knows.
No.
Yeah. So I'm all excited. I was going to ask Sandy. I was like, Sandy, what color is it? But yeah, I haven't a clue. So it's kind of a shame because I ride one of the green SL7s and it's lovely. So I don't know. As long as it's not pink, I don't do pink.
Yeah, no intel for you there at all, I'm afraid.
No. Listen, thanks for doing this. It was great.
No, it was an absolute pleasure. Thanks. And
I'm sorry, I'm probably like just lackluster after all the chat, but I definitely enjoyed it, and I didn't bore you with too much Irish. I didn't break out. Gurv Míle Maith, Doug.
Likewise, Carolyn. Likewise.
Yeah. So to say goodbye, you can say slán.
Slán.
Slán. So that's goodbye. All right. See you. Thanks.
Cheers.
Bye.